5 important tips and tricks for working with trains in Factorio. Hello dear viewer, I love using trains and you should too. Therefore I created this train test world to help you get started with trains. I don't know why I just lied, it's way more than 5 tips and tricks. Let's jump right in. If you place signals or stations or you hover over them with your mouse, the game indicates exactly where the train will stop. The quantity of shown placeholders for the locomotive and wagons can be configured. In Settings, Interface, Other, you will find the option Train Visualization Length. For this test world I use trains with a length of 5, which is why I should set the value of this option to 5 as well. A value too small and you don't see enough placeholders. A value too high and you see too many. Factorio renders the last placeholder in yellow. With a properly set length you can immediately see that a train fits perfectly into the block between the signals. This is a train without a schedule. The display panel says, open the train's menu, zoom out and hold the control key. By hovering over pieces of rail in your factory, the game will light up the path to that spot. With a left click you can order the train to go there. Knowing about this is crucial, because if that location cannot be reached by the train because of some kind of signal problem, the track will not light up because there's no path. In this test world we cannot reach the unreachable station to the east. Let's try. Hovering over it doesn't light up the tracks. To find the problem I slowly investigate the path until the highlighted path disappears. That must be the spot causing the issue. We will take a closer look in a minute, but first let's talk about signal basics. Using signals cuts the track into blocks. To make them visible, hold a signal in your cursor. Signals make sure that a block can only contain one train at a time. Using only one signal creates a one-way track. Using 2 signals at the same spot, a two-way track. If you take a close look, you can see icons at the end of the blocks, visualizing the allowed directions that trains have to respect when entering or leaving the block. Arrows for one way and a diamond for both ways. Trains can only pass signals on their right-hand side of the track or when there are signals on both sides. This is very important to understand. A train cannot pass a lone signal on its left. Pretend that the driver of the locomotive can only look at the right side of the track. And if we only place one signal, imagine a big fat no entry sign at the empty opposing side. This signal can only be passed coming from the left because the driver can see it on his right side. A train coming from the right only sees no entry allowed. The train on the left cannot pass, lone signal on its left. The train in the middle and on the right, on the other hand, can pass these signals. That's because the driver sees a signal on its right-hand side. Understanding these rules will prevent 80% of signal mishaps in your factory, I'm sure. Okay, let's take a closer look at the unreachable station in the east. Why are trains unable to find a valid path to get there? This is a common problem. The 2 signals on the right look like a set of signals creating a two-way track. But upon closer inspection, it's clear that they are misaligned, resulting in 2 separate solo signals, creating a one-way track each in opposing directions. No matter from which side a train tries to pass this section, one of the signals will always prevent passage. When placing signals, notice the white colored indicator. That's the spot that creates a proper two-way pair of signals. If you are a Factorio beginner, I recommend keeping things simple. Don't make it unnecessarily complicated. When you just want to transport some items early, use 2-headed trains capable of going both directions. Only use one train per track, no intersections, no signals. Don't let rails cross each other. You can get very far in the game with this method. Even more so when you play with Space Age's elevated rails. If you want to increase throughput and learn signals, you can then start using 2 or more trains. I already made a basic video about trains and signals, maybe watch it as well, it's in the description. Rule of thumb for signals. Use regular signals when a train can wait and park in the following block. Use chain signals when you don't want trains to come to a stop in the following block. For example, in this case, tracks going south are shared and used by all trains. Under no circumstance do we want a train to wait and occupy it. That's why we use chain signals going south. Chain signals make it so that a train can only enter a block when it can leave as well. The signal for entering stations should always be a regular signal, because trains are supposed to stop, park and load/unload there. Instead of having one very long shared block, I added an extra block, which enables trains to pass each other. A regular signal at the entrance, because the train is supposed to wait inside of the block if no station is free. And a chain signal at the exit, because the train should only go when it can leave the following shared block. In this test world, I set up stations with the same name. 2 iron load stations and 2 iron unload stations. A train group with currently 7 trains is sharing this simple schedule. I'll talk about the interrupt at the bottom in a minute. First, I want to highlight the importance of train limits. If multiple trains share a schedule, make it a habit to set proper train limits. This train stop, for example, doesn't have a waiting area for a second train, which is why the limit has to be 1. If I set it to 2, another train will arrive and clog up the main line, causing a traffic jam. This unloading station right here also has train limit 1, but this time I'm using the priority slider. When in doubt, a train will prioritize this stop over the other ones, because it has a priority of 90 compared to this stop with priority 50, but train limit 4 because of the waiting areas. Another minor trick, loading and unloading diagonally parked trains. I don't recommend doing it, but it works. Way more important, setting filters for train wagon cells. Very useful when you want to transport different items in one wagon or limit the maximum quantity of items transported. Use the middle mouse button to change the filter setting. Using an unrelated item like a deconstruction planner lets you block cells that should stay empty. Next up, using interrupts to refuel trains. My trains have a refuel interrupt that will cause trains to refuel at these 3 refuel stations. Each station has a train limit of 1, so 3 trains can refuel at the same time. The refuel interrupt triggers when any fuel quantity falls below 10. The train will then go to a refuel station with the name wildcard symbol refuel. Wildcard symbol will be replaced by the actual symbol of the fuel that triggered the interrupt. In this test world, all trains run on rocket fuel, which means they will come to the station with the name rocket fuel symbol refuel. Trains will stay until fully fueled. It makes sense to position refuel stations near intersections so that trains can immediately turn the right way towards their target stop. Did you know that you can blueprint trains and increase your fleet by copy-pasting, even in remote view? There's a blueprint in this chest, let's use it. The refuel station is the perfect place to create new trains because they get fueled right away. And just like that, 3 new trains for the Iron Train group. When creating your rail blueprints, I recommend using the Snap to Grid feature. This makes it way easier to plan your rail network and make everything fit perfectly. A lot of players don't know that you can move the grid marker in the blueprint editor by holding Shift and clicking. Very useful. Creating modular blueprints that fit your desired train length deserves a dedicated video, I think. Supporters on patreon.com/Avadi can download this train test world. I'm using display panels everywhere to describe and explain the issues at hand. The test world isn't finished, and I'll add way more stuff and blueprints to it in the future. See you next time, bye!